Ladies and gents, welcome to CG Reaction, and this is How to Move the Sun Stellar Engines by the channel Kurzgesagt in a nutshell. Remember people, this is Kurzgesagt video, so it might get blocked, it might not. I don't know the pattern there. I thought some of the old video gets blocked, but some of the old videos don't. Some of the old videos gets blocked. I don't know what that is. But yeah, so you might see checkered box where the video is, but if that's a bit too much to you, play the original video in the side of the browser or whatever, wherever you're watching. And yeah, so yeah, how to move the sun stellar engines. Yeah, this is definitely pretty advanced thinking. It's not for today, obviously. How to move the sun. We can't even make Dyson sphere. Screw the Dyson sphere. We are worried about carbon dioxide in our atmosphere right now. So compared to this, we are really primitive. But yeah, one day this might come in handy. Because for a long enough time there is no issue where the sun might go, but since sun is orbiting around in the galaxy, sun might come across a place where there's an issue, like there's an impending supernova that's gonna happen, and we are heading that way. There's a black hole in some distance, in some 1,000 years we might head that way. So this is good enough thinking, because doing all this would require a long time. Now, how to move the sun? I think one of the things I could think of is that asteroid deflecting mentality. You could put a heavy enough craft near the sun that pulls each other, and you keep the craft constantly firing in the direction where you want to go. Obviously that's makes not much of a difference at the time, but over time it will deflect the sun well enough. I don't know what else you could think. I mean, pretty sure using sun's own energy, like some kind of a glass or something that reflects all the lights in one direction, that could use as a propulsion. So yeah, that could work too. I don't know. We'll see what all the ideas are in this channel. Remember people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction. There's a link in the description. Check out the cast for all the playlists. I've reacted quite a few Kurzgesagt video already, so if you haven't seen them, check out in the link. It's there somewhere. So yeah, let's watch this one.
Nothing in the universe is static. In the Milky Way, billions of stars orbit the galactic center. Some, like our Sun, are pretty consistent, keeping a distance of around 30,000 light-years from the galactic center, completing an orbit every 230 million years.
Yeah, whenever it comes to anything related to like sun and sun's orbiting or Earth's orbit, the more stable it is, the more better it is for us in the long time, because predicting things becomes easier.
This dance is not an orderly ballet, more like a skating rink filled with drunk toddlers. This chaos makes the galaxy dangerous.
Yeah, black hole.
Our solar neighborhood is constantly changing, with stars moving hundreds of kilometers every second. Only the vast distances between objects protect us from the dangers out there. But we might get unlucky in the future. At some point, we could encounter a star going supernova, or a massive object passing by and showering Earth with asteroids. If something like this were to happen, we would likely know thousands, if not millions of years in advance.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure right now, for thousands of years, there is no clear, nearby star that's gonna go supernova that might hurt us. There are stars that are close enough that if they go supernova, we'll see it in the sky, like Eta Carina and things like that. If those things go, first of all, if Eta Carina goes supernova in Australia and places like that, at the night we'll be able to clearly see it. I mean, it'll be strikingly visible, like there is some pretty good enough light in the sky. That would be an awesome thing to see. But yeah, there are some stars that might, if they go supernova, we'll be able to see, but we won't get affected by it. The stars that might affect us, I don't think that anything that's closer for thousands of years, so it's nothing to worry about right now, but we are thinking about pretty far in the future.
But we still couldn't do much about it, unless we move our whole solar system out of the way. To move the solar system.
Yeah, best thing about moving the solar system, I think, is that first I'm like, won't that cause issue with all the orbits around the sun? But no, it's not going to be sudden movement, like if something like that happens, then yeah, something orbits might get screwed over. But it's gonna be slowly incremental changes in the the direction. So what happens if you just change the direction of the sun? Obviously, all objects around the sun is going to follow, because space just in a two-dimensional way, think like it's a bed sheet or something. If you put a heavy object there, like bowling ball or something there, it will curve the bed sheet. And if you throw some small balls around it, it will try to obviously in this sense it will all crash into the ball, because there's also gravity from down. But in a theory it makes sense, because when you throw the ball, it will start to orbit around it because of the curve. That's what gravity is. But basically if you move that ball, all the balls around it will also move with it, because the curve is also moving. So yeah, just moving the sun is enough. That what we will not notice it, but obviously scientists will be able to be observed that we change direction, we are at a different place than we should have been. Yeah.
System, we need a stellar engine, a megastructure used to steer a star through the galaxy. It's the kind of thing that might be built by an advanced civilization with Dyson sphere level technology that's thinking about their future millions of years ahead of time. But how do we possibly move the hundreds of thousands of objects in the solar system?
I love this visual. We are just, just like it's commercial, like how there are planes. I think that's where SpaceX is going. People like, what is Elon Musk doing? He's a car guy. He's everything he does is in, vehicular area. He makes cars. Why is he suddenly care about like NASA? Like, why does he want to explore space? And I'm like, yeah, he's still doing vehicular things, but he's just now playing in a different field. He's trying to make transportation of space accessible to people, so he could sell his spacecrafts. That's why he's making, reusable space rockets. So he could, in the far future, he can create, there you go, SpaceX rocket, buy it just like you buy a car. Go ahead, visit Mars or something. He's trying to create vehicles for space. So I love this idea. I don't think we'll see this level of traffic in space in our lifetime, but at one day I'm pretty sure this might be normal. Just like people jump around from countries to countries, they'll jump around from planet to planet. It would be so awesome. At that time, people think that Dyson sphere technologies is pretty far away, but the thing with this is just starting a frontier is the hardest thing. Once you dominate this, like you make space commercial, you just jump from place to place for vacation. Once you do that, you have access to a lot of things. Lots of minds would focus things like that on the space, because you're traveling around asteroid belts, you're traveling to different planets, you can research things that you couldn't before. So people think that Dyson sphere is pretty far in the future, but once you dominate things like this, there'll be enough for us to spearhead our technology forward. And I think Dyson sphere is not that far behind, because we just landed on the moon. That's all we did. That's all our achievement is during the Apollo program. That thing alone transferred our technology at the level that we are seeing today. Most of the things that we are using today, computers, chips, lots of things, happened because people were trying to go to the moon, Apollo program. And that's just trying to go to the moon. That's it, nothing more. Making space like commercial. Just going from place to place, researching it. Oh, look at that. I want to go to that asteroid and research that. Yeah, let's just go there. When you have that kind of a momentum, when you have that kind of mentality, I don't think Dyson sphere is really far away. So I feel like in 100 years, this will be so easily accessible that people think that something like Dyson sphere is 1,000 years away. I don't think it's that far. Maybe 150 years. It will take 50 or so years after we make space accessible like this. But yeah.
System. The good news is we can ignore all of that. We only need to move the sun. All the other stuff is glued to it by gravity and will follow it wherever it decides to go.
Yeah.
There are lots of ideas about what a stellar engine might look like and how it would work. We've picked two grounded in our current understanding of physics that could be built in theory. The simplest kind of stellar engine is the shkadov thruster, a giant mirror. It works on the same principle as a rocket. Like rocket fuel, the photons released as solar radiation carry momentum. Not a lot, but a bit. For example, if an astronaut turned on a flashlight in space, it would push them backwards very, very slowly. A stellar engine will work a little better than a flashlight because the sun produces a lot of photons.
Yeah.
The basic
an
idea of the
understatement.
shkadov thruster is to reflect up to half of the solar radiation to create thrust and slowly push the sun.
Yeah. Well, we have to be very careful doing this though. If we point this towards, I don't know, like some object in the in our solar system, like some asteroid or something, one of the moons of Mars or something, we point it towards that, I'm pretty sure the power would be too much. If it's not going to completely destroy it, it's gonna fuck up all the process of it. It might knock it off of its orbit or something like that. So yeah, but yeah, the mirror, this makes sense. I mean, sun is the prime energy of our entire solar system. Why don't you just point that energy in some direction? That would be enough. That makes sense.
Where we want it to go. In order for the shkadov thruster to work, it must be kept in the same place, not orbiting the sun. Although the sun's gravity will try to pull it in, it would be supported by radiation pressure, which props the mirror up. This means the mirror would not.
Yeah, okay. First of all, putting the mirror on top of the sun like that would be an issue, since sun is moving through the space, rotating around our galaxy from the top. People think that sun is moving around our galaxy, orbiting our galaxy sideways or something. No, it's going from the top. So our planets are going like this, corkscrew style on top. So if we put mirror here, it will just slow it down. We have to move it so somewhere around here or here to move its direction.
Orbiting the sun. Although the sun's gravity will try to pull it in, it would be supported by radiation pressure, which props the mirror up. This means the mirror would have to be very light, made of micron-thin reflecting foil from materials like aluminium alloys. The mirror's shape is important too. Enveloping the sun in a giant spherical shell wouldn't work because that would refocus light back to the sun, heating it up and creating all sorts of unpleasant problems. Instead, we use a parabola, which sends most of the photons around the sun and in the same direction, which maximizes thrust.
This is a gigantic mirror though. Look at the sun compared to that. Earth is extremely small. Earth might be at that size if it were close to orbiting here. It would be that size. So that gigantic mirror, we would need resources. We would mind our own asteroid belt.
To prevent accidentally burning or freezing Earth with too much or too little sunlight, the only safe place to build a
they build this and they're like, whoops, half of the continent died. They're like, oh, how bad, everything fucked out. Obviously they would change the mirror immediately, so not entire planet is not going to be screwed, but lots of process would happen that would screw up most of the things on the planet.
shkadov thruster is over the sun's poles. This means we can only move the sun vertically in the plane of the solar system and one direction in the Milky Way, which limits our travel options a bit. But that is basically it. For a civilization capable of building a Dyson sphere, this is a relatively simple endeavor. Not complicated, just very hard to build. At full throttle, the solar system could probably be moved by about 100 light years over 230 million years. Over
That's
a
a
few
long
billion
distance,
years, it gives us near complete control over the sun's orbit in the galaxy. But in the short term, this might not be fast enough to dodge a deadly supernova. That's why we thought we could do better. So we asked our astrophysicist friend if he could design a faster stellar engine for this video. He did, and wrote a paper about it that's been published in a peer-reviewed journal.
He has an astrophysicist friend?
You can find it in our sources document. We're going to call our new stellar engine the Kaplan thruster. It works a lot like a traditional rocket. Shoot exhaust one way to push yourself the other. It's a large space station platform powered by a Dyson sphere that gathers matter from the sun to power nuclear fusion. It shoots out a very fast jet of particles at nearly 1% the speed of light out of the solar system. A second jet pushes the sun along like a tugboat. The Kaplan thruster requires a lot of fuel, millions of tons per second. To gather this fuel, our thruster uses very large electromagnetic fields to funnel hydrogen and helium from the solar wind into the engine. The solar wind alone doesn't provide enough fuel though, and that's where the Dyson sphere comes in. Using its power, sunlight can be refocused to the surface of the sun. This heats small regions to extreme temperatures, lifting billions of tons of mass off the Sun. This mass can be collected and separated into hydrogen and helium. The helium is burned explosively in thermonuclear fusion reactors.
Yeah, this is damn advanced. I don't see this happening for a long time, that's for damn sure. But yeah, this is also scary. If we fuck it up, we might fuck up our own sun. But yeah, this is pretty advanced civilization level thing. There is a scale, I don't know, some Russian guy named Scale, that tells you what type of civilization we are, 1, 2 or something like that. This is, I think, pretty the highest level of civilization, and I think we are far away from that.
A jet of radioactive oxygen at a temperature of nearly 1 billion degrees is expelled and becomes our primary source of propulsion from our stellar engine. To prevent the engine from just crashing into the Sun, it needs to balance itself. To do this, we accelerate the collected hydrogen with electromagnetic fields using particle accelerators and shoot a jet back at the Sun. This balances the thruster and transfers the thrust of our engine back to the Sun. In as little as 1 million years, this engine can move the Sun by 50 light years, more than enough to dodge a supernova. At full throttle, the solar system can be completely redirected in its galactic orbit in 10 million years. But wait, won't we use up the Sun this way? Fortunately, the Sun is so massive that even billions of tons of material will barely scratch the surface.
Yeah.
In fact, this megastructure will actually extend our Sun's life, since lower mass stars burn slower, keeping the solar system inhabitable for many more billions of years. With a Kaplan thruster, we could turn the entire solar system into our spaceship. For example, by orbiting backwards in the galaxy and colonizing hundreds or thousands of stars as we pass by them.
Yeah.
It may even be possible to...
Yeah, that is true, isn't it? Lower mass stars live longer because there isn't much pressure for it to, accelerate nuclear fusion and use up all the elements in it. So yeah, this might work, but I'm pretty sure this is far in the future. None of us are alive who will witness this. I know there's a saying, the guy who the person who never dies alive today, but I don't know about that. We don't know most things about our own biology, our body. We don't know what consciousness is. I don't know.
To escape the galaxy entirely and expand beyond the Milky Way. Stellar engines are the kind of machines built by civilization.
That would be so epic, man. Some civilization noticing from the distance. They are like what we are right now at our stage, who can observe things. But now they are not at the stage that when we're gonna do all these things. So they are observing. They see a star literally coming out of the galaxy, going to the different. Like, what the hell's happening here? What is the star doing? Where did that come from? They try to think of new laws and new theories just to, think how naturally this could happen.
Thinking not in terms of years or decades, but eons. Since we know that our Sun will die one day, a stellar engine could allow the far future descendants of humans to travel to other stars without ever having to venture into the terrifying dark abyss of interstellar space.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Until we build a stellar engine, we're adrift and subject to the whim.
Yeah, that is so awesome. We're just thinking how we are going to travel between intergalactic space. Just use our sun. Our sun would keep us alive. Maybe in future our other generations will see the other galaxy. Why the hell not?
Whims of the galactic sea. We may not like where it leads us. Maybe our descendants will set sail and become an interstellar species for millions of years to come. This was our last video for the year 12,019 of the human era. And what a year it was. So much stuff happened everywhere, to so many different people. Calendars and holidays are just imaginary, but they help us to cut our lives into pieces that our brains can handle. We're leaving 12,019 behind with a weird mixture of disillusion and hope. The world is screwed up, but we can fix it. In a few days, this year will be over, and we'll get to try again. Thank you for watching our videos, and for sticking around for so many years. See you all in 12,020.
Yeah, This is a great channel. I love the topic, he tackles. Yeah, 12,090. So YouTube survived all that year, apparently. All right. Yeah, this was a great topic. This, every time someone talks about, intergalactic space travel, I'm like, that is such a long distance, and I don't see how that happens. But yeah, if you just take your son with you, why the hell not? That's so awesome. But that would be so weird to see from different, some other civilization. What is the star doing from jumping from galaxy to galaxy? Yeah. I think, if we can do all these things, I think we could, pump in the hydrogen into our sun too. Our sun doesn't need to explode. Yeah. This was great. Alright, people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction. There's a link in the description. Check out the cards for the playlist. Check out the end cards. And yeah, I'll see you next time.